Alright, this video series is less about me cracking jokes and telling weird stories about old action figures I got. It's more about me. It's like a video diary where I don't know exactly where I'm going. I'm trying to like create and build action figures from scratch. So stick around. Hopefully it'll get more interesting. There's going to be ups and downs because I already know of all the stuff I got filmed, there's like peaks and then there's some tragedies in this, so stick around. I think it's interesting. It's time to take custom action figure making to the next level. I made an action figure buck, and he's 3 3/4 inch action figure, and is my prototype. It's not great, but what it does work. He's got 5 points of articulation. He's got a movable head. He's got movable legs. He's got movable arms. This blew my mind. I finally figured it out. I finally did it. I finally put together all the pieces I needed to do of the last probably 3 years of me researching this. And I did it. And it blew my mind. And I couldn't contain myself. I made a bunch of other ones. I made another one, and another one, and another one, and I even started sculpting one, but I ain't gonna tell you who this is yet. But it's made out of epoxy sculpt, green stuff, paper clips, and I had to even make little peg joints myself, which I'll get into in a little bit later. It's held together by a rubber band, but this is my prototype. This is this is the third one I made? Yeah. No rubber band. He's held together. No glue. I was able to make a snap on the inside where he's held together. And big open square right there. Here and here. And you put them together. He holds together, freestanding. So I was pretty proud of that. Just a quick recap of my past customs. This is a Venom I sculpted on top of a dollar store figure, and I couldn't freehand the Venom symbol to save my life. It's another dollar store figure, but as you can see, I could freehand the Punisher symbol, and I had way more detail on there, like his gun and his pouches and stuff like that, so that was a leap forward. And then this is my biggest leap forward, completely built from scratch. This is a Superstar Billy Graham figure. It's supposed to look like an LJN Bendy's, and he doesn't move at all, but it fits in with the aesthetic, so your boy can sculpt. The biggest problem with making moving joints was I couldn't find any household objects to make little pegs with, and I had to get really creative. I decided I'm going to have to make my own. So here is my prototype. I found styrene straws or rods and had to cut them down small. And then this little gray part is those little foam pads that you put underneath toasters and stuff, and lamps, so you don't scratch up your counters and stuff like that. Then I put just a little simple straw in there because when I put this into a mold, that's going to be my little pour spout. And here is my mold. It's kind of roughed up. I've used it a lot. Probably not going to use this one no more. But I made this out of silicone. I put all my little pieces in there. Cut it in half. Take it out, and I poured my mold my resin in these, and I made these. The little straw made the hole on top for me to pour into. So then I just kind of filed the top flat when I was done. Didn't matter how the bottom looked because that's another part of the process. Here's what the inside of them looks like. I used a little styrene rectangle, not this exact one, but a styrene rectangle I put there into the green stuff. I used it really just to space the head and the arms out. After I flattened it out, I would put Vaseline on there. So when I made the second half, I could peel it right off, and it worked really good. It really did. I get my basic shape. And kind of snap together with that negative spot. So then I'd sand down that, sand down that, sand down that. With that left over, put a little piece of clay on top. Now I had a head. And when you put the clay on top of that, that would be just about as flat and as flush as possible. And you get good movement. Not 100% perfect, but it is pretty good. Then after that, I kind of filed down to a good shape with my Dremel. That negative space left by the spacer I took out causes a little bit of a suction. Keeps them together. I can shake him, he doesn't even fall apart. I do think the green stuff kind of shrinks a little bit. Because I do that, it kind of opens up a little bit, so I have to file down those pegs just a slight bit. I mean, I could glue them together and it'll stay, but I kind of want to reproduce these later if I ever get really good at mold making. So I'm thinking this figure is going to be Iron Man. And I would like to make copies of him. I'd like to make a copy of him, not so that he's not like a bunch of clay and green stuff. I'd like to mold him in full resin, so I don't want to glue them together. The green stuff is as close to plastic as possible. It's got a slight flexibility, not a lot. Also depends on how much blue you use and how much yellow you use to mix it together. I think you'll use a little bit more yellow, comes out a little more flexible, a little more blue, leaves it more rigid. First one I made just to see if I could do it. I didn't care what it looked like, and the next one I made, wanted to make it look better, and I already started sculpting a figure on that. I started sculpting Swamp Thing, and he looks pretty good. As you can see, he's in perfect scale with my favorite superhero toy collection ever, the Mego Pocket Heroes. So that's what we got there, and they're also in the same scale, slightly smaller Star Wars figures. Oh, maybe this blank one will be some sort of Star Wars figure, but I can't think of a character that hasn't been done to death. Any like the most background of background characters I'm probably not interested in making. You know, every outfit of Luke has been made like 3,000 times by other customizers and stuff, so not really, couldn't think of anything I really wanted to make. So he's probably going to end up being another superhero or original character. That would be neat to make an original character. Here is the figure I started working on for making all these bucks. Classic looking Swamp Thing. I think this is one of my best face sculpts I've ever did. I know I can touch him up. I know I can make that even better. The body, it's a rough draft. I'm not even sure how I'm going to make the moss on him. I haven't fully designed it. But I'm pretty happy with how far these turned out. This is just, I spent maybe a day on the head and a day on the body. And I kind of artistically I'm stuck. I don't know where to go next. But we'll figure it out because I am super stoked with this. Unfortunately, I'm a very slow sculptor. I mean, I can get this far in a matter of like 2 days, but in order to really get my details out and get the figure to look like the vision in my head, I will spend months working on this. Not every day straight. I mean, I might put them down for 2-3 weeks, come back to them when I'm inspired again. I really like this figure so far. Of course, you need some hands and more defined details, but not a bad start. You know what's weird? Just by drawing little faces on these figures, it feels like a real figure to me. Because it's like, alright, it's got 5 points of articulation, it moves, it does what it's supposed to do, but the fact that it's got a face on it, it is an Iron Man figure, that is a Flash figure. I'd give it a D-, but I can easily turn that to like a C- and give them hands and paint them or something like that, but it always gives you like I always do a little bit better. Well, yeah, I can turn that C- into a C+. I could maybe turn my C+ into a B. You know, maybe I can shoot for a whole A-. So there's always room to work up. And just by adding the little faces on those and the little symbols, just makes it feel like, you know, mission accomplished already. There's only one way to go from here but up.